Kenny here with Gardening Simplified. It's January 11th, and we're going to do a garden update. We'll start up here at the top of the garden. As you can see, our chives are kind of, look like they laid down. It's been pretty cold here the past few days. They said it's going to be 24 last night. We'll take a look at the thermometer, see what it got down to. It had been getting down to 22 to 20 degrees. And yesterday it got up to about 35. So, and a little bit of snow. Of course, just enough that you seen it, nothing that touched the ground and stayed. But our herbs are doing pretty good still. Our oregano, it's probably getting close to time. After this cold spell, I'll probably cut all this back. That way, I'll give it a chance to grow some nice new stuff on here. Some of our herbs, and I'm not really familiar with this Cuban oregano. I think it's supposed to be an annual, so it should come back, but we'll see. Our ginger in here, you can see it's all the way died back. We need to come in here and harvest this out. A lot of our herbs that are over here along the side are lemongrass. It's needing cut out. It looks like the cold weather's pretty much done it in, so we'll cut it all, take the part of it out, take it into the compost pile, let it compost, let it start out again. Our other herbs are lavender here, the French lavender. There's still a little bit that's hanging in there, but it's getting about that point. And then our French lavender. That there is our Good Creek lavender. This is our French lavender. It's kind of all tied back. The peppermint seems to be doing pretty good. This lavender here is still hanging in there. We got our yarrow. It's still going. As far as we need to clean up the seed head, make sure we drop any seeds that was in there. We've got our lemon balm. It needs cleaned up. And our catnip needs cleaned up. All our beds need cleaned up. We're going to do a little different this year. We're going to cover these beds with some black plastic and see if we can't kill a bunch of these weeds in here that way. Now back up here to the top, you can see our garlic's doing good. We got to get in here and weed it. It's kind of like onions. It does a whole lot better if you get the weeds out. Not to say it won't go, but it does a lot better if the weeds are out. We still haven't cleaned out our coriander or our cilantro that went to seed. With this cold weather, these red cabbage, they tend to take the cold weather a lot better than the other cabbage. Now, I do have a couple that are little that didn't do good. It looks like they've got pretty well bit and probably need to come out. But all the bigger ones seem to have been doing pretty fair. We do have a couple of early jerseys over here, and they were a little bit too young to harvest before this cold. They still seem to be hanging in there, so we'll see how that goes. Now our peppers here, they're definitely toast. I didn't have any seed for this variety. I'm thinking about maybe pulling one of these peppers off here, getting some seed, and going ahead and planting those seeds, see how they do. The peas, it definitely got too cold for them. These ones here are toast. But it didn't get too cold for the onions. The onions are doing fine. Same as the garlic. Now, these are probably not going to make it. We'll give them a chance to see if they recover. But this was cauliflower. It didn't like it. This is our filter crop that's outside. It got bit pretty hard. Our broccoli doesn't seem to be as bad. It seems like it might pull through, but we'll just have to see. Time will tell. And the collards, fared pretty good with this cold weather. We've got our asparagus bed all cleared out. Just need to get in here and do our fertilizer in there, get it ready, give it time to break down for the new season. Now the little greenhouse, the lettuce is doing pretty good. We did cover some of this underneath. I was looking last night, it got down to 23 in here, which we did have it closed up, but we leave it open, leave one door open, even though it's 50 degrees with the door open. It's 82 in here right now. So in our big greenhouse, we do have some stuff covered in there. Everything looks better. We didn't cover our cabbages and some of our broccoli. Now we did cover the other broccoli and our filter kraut. We didn't give any heat to our bananas in here. And we'll zoom out a little bit and get different in the light. And it did damage a bunch of the leaves. I'm sure this banana bunch here isn't going to make it, but we're going to give it a chance and see if it starts to die off. Well, we'll go ahead and harvest it. We harvested the young bunch on the other one that was over here and letting them ripen up. Of course, they were kind of small. They weren't big like the others. But we'll see how these hold in here. We covered all our citrus and our pineapples and our banana pups that's in here, so they're doing all right. We had one cauliflower here on the end that hadn't made it yet. Everything else in here was our parsley, our lacinato kale, and our leek, and our broccoli here. Now there are heads on this broccoli. We didn't go, it's Saturday, but we didn't go to the market today. It was really cold. We didn't know how well the roads were going to be, so we said we'd just take this weekend off and go to the market next weekend. Now we did harvest a lot of broccoli off of these. We've been eating it. These were the first ones, and they're looking kind of rough anyway. It won't be long we'll take these out, but we have been harvesting the side shoots because they're a little there, but they'll get to a good size shoot in there. We left our rutabagas in the cell trays too long, and they kind of shocked them going into the ground. And then I don't know if this cold added to it, but we'll see. They might recuperate, but if they don't, we're not going to cry. But we've been harvesting the heads off of here. We have some that's starting to make their heads. Maybe got about almost 3-inch head, and another one right here. But the cold didn't bother them. It has been getting, it got as low as 22 in here, but that's up at the level of the thermometer, so that's not going to be, ground level is going to be warmer. It gets heat from the ground. As we come out here, we definitely got a lot of weeding to do in our carrots and thinning these out. The cilantro's fared well. It is kind of laid down. It starts warming up. Of course, today we're 51's a high, and the next few days it's going to be in the low 50s to maybe mid 50s. So we'll see how that goes, how it comes on. These peas here are pretty much gone too. There are a few that were blooming, but we got a few more nights. We're going to be at freezing or a little below, probably for close to the next week, and so that's going to probably do those in. Our dill, it got pretty good hit. I don't know that it's killed it, but it did get a pretty good hit, so it's going to have to try to recover. Now we have some Mitch Healy down here, and the freeze got it pretty good, but this will go to the chickens. It's definitely not market quality, but it definitely, the chickens will love it. And we'll go back here to the back. Our globe artichokes, they ain't like that cold weather either. We didn't try to cover a lot of this stuff. We let it thin for itself. But they've definitely, the freeze has got pretty rough on them. But I figure they'll come back from the root for this next year and should do pretty good. We have been doing a little bit more clearing out here, so we've got more area that we'll get seeded. Got a little pile there to burn up. Need to get down here and do some weeding, get our blueberries prepared for next year, but we do have part of this cleared out pretty good. But anyway, that's the way it is here in my garden. I hope that some of y'all's gardens fared a little better, but you know, it is winter time. I know the further north you go, the more you got to worry about weather and trying to protect it. A lot of our crops that we start in the fall to go through winter, like our garlic and our onions, they're still doing good. So we ought to still have a good crop, but we need to catch up, get our garden ready, because it's now almost the middle of January. We're about a month off that we'll start planting our potatoes, and we've got some of our seedlings started. You know that springtime's coming, and it's time to look forward to getting all this new stuff and green stuff put in the garden, and hopefully the weather will take and be a little better as we go along. It's getting time to trim up a lot of our fruit trees. With this cold spell, it's going to put them all dormant, and we can get those pruned up and get taken care of. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this update. If you want to see more, of course, hit that subscribe, hit the bell, select all, give it a big thumbs up, and share this video. Enjoy that gardening experience.